Hello and welcome to the next edition of the Hewlett-Packard Enterprise Voice of the Customer podcast series. I'm Dana Gardner, Principal Analyst at Inter Arbor Solutions, your host and moderator for this ongoing discussion on IT innovation and how it's making an impact on people's lives. Our next performance engineering case study discussion examines how JetBlue Airways in New York has used virtual environments to reduce development costs, centralize performance testing, and created a climate for continuous integration and real-time monitoring of mobile applications. We'll now hear how JetBlue created a DevOps model by including performance feedback in a continuous integration process to enable greater workforce productivity. Here to describe how efficient performance engineering has reduced testing, hardware, and maintenance costs by as much as 60%. We're joined by Mohammed Mahmood, the Senior Software Performance Engineer at JetBlue Airways in New York. Welcome, Mohammed.
Thank you.
Well, tell us a little bit about why mobile is so important. I think it's fairly obvious, but consumer experience and user experience is very important, but so is workforce. So it's not just B2C, it's also B2E, if you will, employee. Tell me a little bit about how important mobile apps are to your organization.
So it is really very important for us to give an option for the customer to do the check-in, booking, and some other things like on-flight. They have an option to buy stuff using the mobile as well. But on-flight, they have to use Wi-Fi. So that's another thing. So this is really a business driving for JetBlue Airways. So it is really important for them.
Mm-hmm. And tell me a little bit about what sort of climate or environment you've had to put together in order to make sure that those mobile apps really work well and that your brand and reputation don't suffer.
So we used BSM, HP BSM, and integrated with third-party applications to monitor real-time monitoring. So we created some synthetic transaction and put it out there in a real device and to see if it goes for a long time, how it impacts the performance, and if there is any issue with that, then we can replicate that before even it happens. And also we monitor our real devices, so if there's anything going wrong, we can get alert from the production environment and we can mitigate that issue right away.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about how you've been able to connect the development process and that operational environment for the DevOps benefits. It's a great theory. I know people seek to attain it, but it's more difficult to put into practice. What did you do in order to accomplish that?
Well, we have a DevOps model in our environment, but this is actually a DevOps model is not my area. My area is strictly performance engineering, so I cannot tell you about that. But I can tell you that we are in a process of putting the performance effort into the DevOps model, so we can be part of early performance engineering phase. So when any model is coming out of dev environment, we can be part of that. We can put our test cases into the unit testing scenarios. So if any change is happening, so it will kick off our performance testing as well, as along with the functional test cases. So it will kick off, give the feedback to the developers.
And how often are you updating these apps? Are you doing it monthly, quarterly, more frequently?
Well, I'd say most of them in 2 weeks, 3 weeks basis.
And how are you managing the virtual environment to create as close to the operating environment as you can? Tell us a little bit about how the virtualized services and network benefit you.
Well, that's again, it's is mostly developer area, so that's not my area. But we are maintaining a complete virtualized environment for our performance testing and performance engineering. And we are, before we create any, our developer create any kind of service or put it out there, they do some mock-ups using some third-party applications, and the virtual environment they are creating is more like, similar to the production environment. So when it's out there, it's work efficiently and perfectly. There is no issue.
How has performance engineering changed over the past few years? We've seen a lot of changes in general in development, mobile, of course, DevOps, the need for more rapid development. But performance engineering, how have you seen it shift in the past few years?
Well, from the beginning, in the JetBlue Airways, if I tell you that when I came to JetBlue Airways, they used to use LoadRunner. So LoadRunner is only one product they used to have. So if anybody comes to them, PM or business analyst or any SMEs, they are coming to them, give me some kind of statistics about performance of these applications, how it goes. So they're going to run a test and give the statistics. The statistics they give you is pretty straightforward. So maybe some transaction response times and some server statistics. That's it. No other information. But now it's more than that. Now we analyze the log, we analyze the traffic flow and user behavior, how they behave, in order to create or design an effective test. Now, this is more of a performance engineering than performance testing. So this is kind of in collaboration with the developer and business analyst and other SMEs. So it's basically we are going deeper. And we used to test performance, test the application from the UI side before, end-to-end. And we didn't got engaged before the application is complete. Now we are getting engaged, even if it is like a small portion of the application, one module, we are getting engaged. We are doing the performance testing. We are doing the response times in case like multiple user using that application or that module, how this is going to impact before even it goes to the integration point. So it's more of a coming to the developer table, sit together, and figure out any performance issue. So it's more deeper.
Great. Now, understanding the trajectory forward, it seems that we're going to be doing more with microservices, APIs, more points of contact, generating more data, trying to bring the analysis of that data back into the application. Tell me a little bit about where you see it going now that you've sort of told us where it's come from. What would be some of the next benefits that performance engineering can bring to the overall development process?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, that we are trying to be part of continuous integration. So our goal is to get engaged in early level. So sit together with the developer one-to-one basis and see what they need, and in order to make sure that we have an efficient, performance-efficient application in our environment for our customers. So we are getting engaged in early stage, number one. And number two, we are trying to mitigate any kind of volume-related issues. Like if we have a yearly sale, sometimes it's come. We don't know when that is going to happen. If it happens, it's really chaos. It's a big thing. So we need to make sure we are prepared for that. And most of our application is mostly JetBlue.com and JetBlue mobile applications is really crucial for us, crucial for our business. So we are trying to get engaged in the early stage, trying to make sure that we are part of development process as well. So we are kind of shifting late.
Okay. Of course, it's important to be able to demonstrate value. Do you have any metrics of success, or you can point to ways in which getting in early, getting in deep has been of significant value? How do you measure your effectiveness?
Well, we did a calculation in our production environment. If JetBlue.com goes down for an hour, how much it's going to cost us? Now, I'm not going to give you any numbers because I'm not authorized to discuss any numbers, but I can tell you that it was millions of dollars. So before it goes to the production with any kind of performance-related issue, we make sure we are solving it before it happens. Now, I can tell you that much, that it is millions of dollars we are saving.
And of course, more and more people identify the mobile app with the company. This is how they interact, or it becomes the brand. So super important for that as well.
Yes, and of course, and also I can add another thing. So when I joined in JetBlue 3 years back, that time industry standard-wise, our position was on 14th. From the benchmark list. Now we are on 5th, 3rd to 5th. So it varies, time to time. So we are adding values to our organization.
Right. So it always pays to get it done right the first time and get it early.
Yes.
Almost in any activity these days. Tell us a little bit about what comes next. Where would you like to extend continuous integration processes? To more types of applications, involving more services. Where do you take the success and extend it?
Right now, we are more of engaged with the JetBlue.com and mobile application. Now, little bit, the other teams, they are actually interested in doing performance testing as well. So we are getting engaged with the SAP team, then database team as well. Database team want to see their database effectiveness in performance during the peak load. Then SAP team, they have like a lot of payroll stuff, then people related application they're using. So we are getting engaged day by day basis more and more. So it's getting bigger every day.
Well, great. I'm afraid we'll have to leave it there. We've been learning how JetBlue Airways has created a climate for continuous integration and real-time monitoring of mobile applications to enable greater workforce productivity. And we've heard how JetBlue created a DevOps model by including more performance feedback in the continuous integration process. So join me in thanking our guest. We've been here with Mohammed Mahmood, the Senior Software Performance Engineer at JetBlue Airways in New York. Thank you, Mohammed.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
And I'd like to thank our audience as well for joining us for this Hewlett-Packard Enterprise Voice of the Customer podcast. I'm Dana Gardner, Principal Analyst at Inter Arbor Solutions, your host for this ongoing series of HPE-sponsored discussions. Thanks again for listening, and do come back next time.